Sup guys, I'm back and today I'm doing another figure review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the X Plus 30cm series Bagan. Yes, this monster has had so many attempts to be in a Godzilla movie, but just never made the final cut. But X Plus finally decided to make a figure of him. And before we go into the review, I'm just going to say I'm not going to be showing the box because that box is already downstairs. I don't feel like bringing it all the way back up to my room again. So if you want to see what the box looks like, just look at my unboxing video. So yes, without further ado, let's get right into this review. Alright guys, here we are with the figure itself, and if you watch my unboxing video, the first thing I notice, and the first thing you will notice when you get this figure, is that he is massive. He is such a beast of a figure. I believe he's regarded as one of the biggest, if not the biggest, 30cm figure out there. He is just a bulky figure and heavy too. This is a figure that weighs 4 pounds. Believe me, I weighed it. But yes, this is a ginormous figure. So if you do plan on getting this, definitely clear some space for him. So before we get into this, this is not the Bagan that was shown in the game Super Godzilla or the Bagan that was shown in Godzilla Movie Studio Tour, which I actually have a version of that right there. This Bagan comes from the puppet show on YouTube called Godziban, I believe. So yes, I haven't seen the show, so I really can't determine how movie accurate this is, but the design on this guy is pretty amazing. The head sculpt looks amazing, just looks so evil. And no, that is not a pupil right there. That's just the light of my ring light. The eyes are just a solid red. They're actually, no, not solid. They're a clear red, and they just look amazing. And also one thing to note is that the Rick Boy for this figure, I believe, had light up eyes and a light up horn. I did not get the Rick Boy. I waited a little too long to get this figure. But yes, got the 3 horns there. The detail looks amazing. Got the spikes right here on his neck. The neck looks really good as it is. The detail looks good. So let me get to one minor complaint I have about this figure, and it's really, really minor. So in some areas, this figure looks like it's really detailed, really good. But in other areas, it just looks flat. But that's not really the biggest gripe for me. This figure still overall just looks amazing. So the head again looks amazing. The neck looks great. These giant, I don't even know what you would call these giant spikes here look amazing. The orbs right here look really, really cool. Details, again, not the most crisp on this, but it still looks fine. The arms, giant muscular arms. This guy has definitely been pumping some iron, and yeah, he's just really, really toned arms. They just look great. And down to his fingernails, they look amazing as well, really nicely painted. Oh, I forgot to talk about the mouth. The mouth on this figure looks really nicely done. The teeth look amazing. The tongue looks great. So yeah, now back down to here. Yeah, the arms look great. The chest looks great. The detail on the chest is actually very, very nicely done, except when you get down to here. Again, kind of flat, but it's not too bad. The armor plating right here near his crotch looks amazing. Very, very detailed. His legs, he's got ginormous legs. The toenails are painted very, very nicely. Feet are big as well. So, yeah, moving on to his back. Very, very spiky. It just looks amazing. And the detail on the back looks great. And moving on down to his tail. Yes, the tail would sorry, what am I saying? The tail would attach to the figure right here, and I may have made a little mistake when I attached the tail, because I don't know if you see this gap right here. So I tried to heat up the base of the tail as warm as I could. I tried to do the best I could with that, but still the tail would just not go in. So I had to heat up the tail as well, and I heard that if you heat up the tail and not the body, that it can become loose like this. So that's probably the issue I did. I may have to take the tail out and try the standard method of putting, just heating up the body and then just putting this in the freezer. I don't know if my freezer would fit this, so I may just have to make do with this. But it doesn't look too terrible. And coming down the rest of the tail, it looks great. The spikes on the tail look great. It reminds me of like those old cartoon dinosaur movies, like the way the tail is designed. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, the tail looks great. And yes, that is the sculpt and detail of this figure. It looks absolutely amazing. So now that we got that out of the way, let's move on to size comparison. All right, guys, for the first size comparison, This is actually the movie that Bagan was first proposed in, but he looked completely different from this. He actually looked more like a, he had three forms in that movie. But yeah, this is not the design for that. But yes, this is the, sorry, I just bumped into the camera. This is the X Plus Yuji Sakai Godzilla 1984, and Bagan just dwarfs this figure. Like, looking at it from head on, it's just ridiculous. Bagan is just so much bigger than the Sakai. But I still prefer my Sakai more. I mean, it's hard to compare these two, but the Sakai is still my favorite. Nothing's topping that. But this guy would definitely say is in my top 3 favorite figures just because of how massive he is and just how impressive he looks. But yeah, the size, Bagan is just so much bigger than the Sakai. All right, let's move on to the next size comparison. All right, guys, for the next size comparison, this is actually the, I believe, the third movie that Bagan is going to be proposed in, and that is Godzilla vs. Destroyer, where they ended up replacing Bagan with Destroyer, but you can kind of see some similarities between the two. But yes, this is the X Plus 25 centimeter Destroyer, and the Destroyer is a very massive figure, especially for a 25 centimeter. It's huge, but Bagan just feels like a much bigger figure, especially when you look at it from the front. Bagan just looks so much bulkier than Destroyer, and Destroyer is probably just a little bit taller because of the horn, but like it's really close. But Bagan just feels a lot bigger. When you see these two in person, Bagan just feels like a much bigger figure. But yeah, that's it for this size comparison. And I think that's enough size comparison. So let's go ahead and conclude this review. All right, guys, to conclude this review, this figure is just amazing. I'd probably give it a 9.5 out of 10 because the detail in some areas could be a little bit better, but this is still such an amazing figure. He's in my top 3 favorite figures in my collection. I don't know if I said that before in this review, but I'll say it again. But he is behind the Yuji Sakai 84 and the 25 centimeter Destroyer. But this figure is still just an amazing figure. And if you want this figure now, good luck, I would say, because I got this guy for a price of around, what was it? It was almost $300 on X Plus North America, and it was so expensive. I had to do monthly payments because that was during the time I was in the college semester, and I didn't really have the best job at the time. So yeah, but this figure is still amazing. I am so happy that I got him, and again, good luck if you want to try to find this figure now. Alright guys, that's it for this review. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, I'm Godzilla1. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.